All right, everyone, welcome to Savannah Chat. Nice to see so many folks from the Savannah office on this one. Always good to have you guys. We've got Brandon Jones here to go over our sales rep home, which is in our back office system. And then myself, Patrick Guilfoyle, I will give a little introduction to our sales drive, and we'll go from there. Brandon, you can take it away.
All right, I appreciate it, Patrick. Hey guys, I'm Brandon. I am the lead data analyst here at Savannah. I think most of you probably already know me. Let me go ahead and get my screen shared. We'll go ahead and get started. Okay, can somebody tell me if they can see my screen?
Yes, looks good.
Perfect. All right. So here we are in the sales rep home. This is the default dashboard when you guys open up Encompass in a browser. Hopefully you're already relatively familiar with how to get here. If you ever are confused about that or need help finding it, the best way to do it is in this universal search bar up here. You can just type in sales rep home and it'll take you right there.
And just for complete transparency, go all the way back and show where this website is, what the login looks like, if you don't mind. A good portion of
So
our sales reps have never used the back office system.
Um, let me see. Maybe I can do that at the end because I'm actually
All right.
logged in as
Nah,
one of the
sounds good.
sales reps here,
Sounds
so we
good.
don't see like the whole company's everything. But yeah, I can do that at the end. That is not a problem at all. So yeah, this is the home for the sales reps. You've got a handful of resources here. Most of these are going to be self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go through every single one. Um, but some of these I'm going to call out because they're maybe newer or a little bit more nuanced. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So the invoice search, you're going to be able to just pull up your customer list, look at invoices directly. This is going to be useful if you need to do a pickup, if your customer wants a printout of an old invoice, anything like that. That invoice search is always super handy. We've got a link directly here to the Google Drive, which Patrick will be talking about later. Um, and again, most of these self-explanatory. There's a couple new ones on here. So the menu tracking table and the menu tracking inventory report. So essentially what these are, this is functionality that we've added directly. We built these tables out and the reports for you guys to be able to, like, let's say you place a niche liqueur or a wine or something like that in an account, and maybe it's something we don't carry a ton of. Um, you want to be able to have a handle on our inventory, if it might run out, do we need to get ahead of this? So you can go to this table, click on this link here. And are you guys following me through these links? I want to make sure all the different
Yeah,
screens are
looks
popping up.
good.
Okay, cool. And so you'll see some of the entries here for menu placement tracking. And how these work, essentially, it is a customer plus a product. And then you're going to say, what is the estimated number of units per month? And a start and end date. You've also got notes here if you want to use them. But in order to add one for your own accounts, you would click this Add Menu Placement Tracking button. You go in, you type in a customer, type in a product, all the things we just talked about, and add record. So that's directly adding to this table that we're using to build out this other report. And I'll pull up the report now. Again, this really, this is a functionality for more niche products. Like you don't need to go and put Tito's on here. Like we'll be good on Tito's, unless something has gone terribly wrong. So you can pull up the report here, which is a partner to that table. It's kind of hard to click these with the Zoom thing there. And this will show all of the menu tracking things that you've entered, as well as a couple really key indicators here. So we can see there's a wine, and I do not know how to pronounce this word. So there's a cab here for the brown fig.
Enadea.
Enadea, yeah, how could I miss it? And it'll tell you, so the days of inventory that we have left, how much is in inventory, how much is total left in either warehouse. And so that can give you a clue on, hey, this is getting kind of low. I need to make sure my customer's okay because we might not get this for a minute. And those things are going to be highlighted in yellow or red. I think it's red if it's totally out of stock. So that's something to communicate, in advance before somebody runs out. Same deal here with the Sandpoint and the Parducci. Like we've got plenty in stock. We've got close to 60 days those are going to be fine for now, not a big concern. But this is just a great way to kind of keep tabs on some of those more niche placements that you make in accounts. Make sure the on-prem doesn't get mad at you. There's also an allocations report. This has been retooled recently. It's a really handy report. It's going to show you all of your allocations. Shane's just got two here for now. So it'll show you whether they're allocated to a particular customer, like this Revival Hall, or just allocated directly to the rep themselves. So you can see that Shane's got Willet and this Tropicalissima here. If you guys ever open this up and you see things that should be on there and you don't see them, just let me know. I think that we have everything fixed. Until recently, there were a couple blind spots with this report, but it seems like it's working right now. So just let me know if you guys find any issues with it. All right, and then of course at the bottom, you've got your sales rep dollars. Hopefully they look as good as Shane's. He's always great at this. And that's this main home page here. So we'll go to the next tab. So this is the market report and execution dashboard. So on the left here, you'll see your marketing reports. So it's your weekly placements, your chain gaps, supplier follow-ups if you've been doing those, and HRA if you have any HRA accounts. So these are the reports that management wants you guys to essentially attach directly to your marketing reports every week. We just put them all in one place so they're easier to find, and you can look at them during the week, see how you're doing. Similar deal here with the goals and incentives. So right now this incentives link is not going to work. Encompass has taken some liberties with how they handle large reports, and they're all timing out a little bit early, including some of Encompass's own reports. So I'm working with them to get a fix on that, but this current incentives beta is out of commission for the time being. Hopefully it'll be fixed in the next week or two. Tito's house goals. If you guys aren't familiar with this one, this is a great report to look at pretty much any time. But this is going to be showing you our overall progress towards the Tito's case goal as a company, as well as our own pace for case sales for Tito's. So essentially you want to see 100% on this bubble on the right, and that means that you're right on target for selling, X amount of Tito's cases to put us over the hump. And we look down here, we can see some of the survey metrics from this round. A lot of you have done a handful of surveys, some of you more than others, but this is a way to look and see how you're doing compared to the goals that we have set. One thing that we get questions on pretty often here are the shelf facings. So what Tito's actually wants to see with shelf facings is that they are 5% of the overall vodka facings in an account. And so if you go and do a little bit of math on your numbers here, you'll see that the Tito's facings here, this 109 divided by the total vodka facings is 3.6%. What Tito's wants to see is 5% there. So, Tito's grabbing space from other competitors in the vodka set is really what they want to see here. And so if anyone has any questions about that, just let me know. But 5% is really the goal for that one. Everything else, I think the goals are in the column names. They're pretty self-explanatory. And you can also see your last period's executions to see how you're doing compared to last time. All right, so back to this one. So we've got our course 7 and buzzball reports here. So there's the core 7 performance, which is the current round that we're in. I'll go ahead and pull that one up as well. Just a quick call out here. When you're looking at these core 7 reports, I get questions about these a lot, like, hey, I think I sold this in, like, why is it not counting? Or like, this should be in this customer, what's going on? One thing that you guys ought to learn how to leverage is the drill down functionality for really any Fusion report, but especially the ones like this that are pretty complicated and involve a lot of things that are going on kind of in the background. So we can see that Shane has 55 new placements. If we were curious about what those new placements are, you can click, I guess it would be your name if you're looking at this, on your name. It's going to open up some options, and this is going to show you data broken out by all these different categories. For course 7, one of the categories we use is called subject. And so that's kind of each group of products broken out individually. And so if we click on that, we'll be able to see all of these same stats broken out by subject, and we'll be able to see like, okay, Shane sold 6 new placements of import beer, 5 of Ordonez, yada, yada, yada. So this is a great way to do that. And you can also just keep on going. So, maybe Shane's like, wait, where did I sell in that Plant Array rum? You can click on that and click on customer. And now you'll be looking at the Plant Array rum new placements by customer. This is a super handy thing to do. When you guys have time to just look at some reporting, I would highly recommend just messing around with this and clicking through stuff. And you might break something, that's okay. Just, refresh the report and start over. But this is a super handy way to look at your stats. And these are, the core 7 numbers. Everybody is looking at these. So it's best to get ahead of the curve, and see what you're doing before you have to have that conversation with someone else. Same deal here with the core 7 retention. Same kind of report. I don't think that needs any further explanation. If you are a rep that focuses on chains and C-stores, instead of that first core 7 report, you'd probably be looking at this chain core 7 focus one. It's got some additional things on there. I don't think it's going to show anything for Shane, but essentially it's placements plus, lack of service and chain gaps, all those things together. So that is a lot of reports in one tab. I'm trying to do okay on time here and leave Patrick with enough to talk about the drive, but that is that tab. Now, commission tab, self-explanatory. I won't click that just for privacy's sake, but one of the questions that we get sometimes is you might see differences between maybe your commission report and if you were to just run a basic sales report. And generally that comes from a difference between, there's a field in Encompass called sales rep historical versus assigned. And historical is a field that gets populated when an invoice gets verified. And so essentially, like, once an invoice gets verified, that is now a commissionable sale. If you're looking at just sales rep assigned, you look at all the sales, even if they haven't been verified yet. So that there can be a difference between those two, but generally, things are going to settle out and they'll all be the same after a few days and all the invoices get settled out. One of the other wrinkles there is for bill and ships. Bill and ships get paid out on the second month, the later month. So that's where the commission goes on those, in case anybody is curious. I've gotten some questions on that. So we'll hop into the sales data analysis tool. So this is got some nice looking graphs here to show you, how are you doing by product class month to date versus last year, as well as year to date versus last year. Shane's doing great. And again, same deal here, guys, with the drill downs. Like, if you want to see what liquor you're doing great with, you can click on this. You can go to brand and see which brands are growing the most for you, or see which brands are stepping back the most. That's honestly just as important, because those might be the ones that need more focus. And it'll show you those same numbers by brand. So these are just overall dollar value numbers. And then if we scroll down a little bit, we can see it by product type. So, kegs versus package, non-alc, as well as customer type. And yeah, I think most of these customer types are pretty self-explanatory at the moment. But if you guys ever have any questions about these reports or have any ideas for other reports like this that would be helpful, just let me know. We can always make it. Yeah, so that is the story with sales data analysis. Now, also with these, if you use these filters up top, like let's say we just want to look at off-premise here. We select off-premise, we click apply. Now that should populate down through all of these reports individually. You can set these up at the top. You can look at just certain product classes, certain suppliers, any of that stuff. Okie dokie. That is the sales data analysis. The e-commerce tab. So this one is focused mostly on PayLink and DSD Link. So at the top, there's this little one pager, which if you guys aren't pushing PayLink out to your customers, I would highly recommend it. It's just significantly more convenient than FinTech, and it just gets us away from using paper checks, which I don't think anyone really enjoys collecting paper checks at this point. And there's a little one-sheeter here that you can pull out download and print out and give it to your customers. I would highly recommend it. Super, super handy. Also, once they get signed up for this, they just have immediate access to all their old invoices. So if they ever have any questions about those, you can always just point them that way and say, hey, you get it right here. A couple other reports about, who is using Paylink, but with other distributors and not us. So these are maybe some easier targets for those. And the same deal with DSD Link customers. All right, sales rep daily reports. This is actually one that I have not built, but basically it's an AR report and a product ETA report. Product ETA is really just looking at the incoming shipments that we have scheduled. Not really anything filtered to your own sales, but just here's all the stuff we got coming in. So if there's something you're curious about, you can check out product ETA. And then AR is self-explanatory. We all know AR. And finally, at the end here is the education tab. So this is a link to our YouTube channel, as well as a Google form where you can make suggestions on future Savannah chats, which I assume goes to Patrick because he puts all these together. So that is basically all of the major tabs for the sales rep home. There will be more features incoming, but we can talk about those when they arrive. If anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat. You can come off mute and ask. That's fine too. Or if you think of them after the meeting, feel free to email me. I'm always happy to answer them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll kick it back over to Patrick.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, as you guys can tell, looking through that stuff through the scope of your own territories and your own sales and your accounts will make a little bit more sense to you. And it's a fun thing to look around. Your day-to-day jobs as sales reps probably doesn't require this back office stuff, but when it comes to deeper dives into strategy and what you should be selling to who and where you're not strong and things of that nature, these reports can be very, very helpful. And certainly help speed up some of your administrative work to keep you in the field and keep you presenting. Similar vein, I'm going to share my screen and we will talk about the Google Drive. So what we've got here is our sales drive. First, I want to show you how you get to this. So obviously you need to type drive Google. You can also get here through this little dial pad button. Sorry, Zoom is in the way. That's in your Gmail account, clicking Drive, clicking Gmail. I'm sure a lot of you navigate through that little dial pad. And it gets you to the drive. Now, when you first get to the drive, you're probably going to be in your drive, which is going to be random documents you have opened in the last few days to weeks, random folders you may have made. This is your drive. And a lot of people get to this section and they say, where's all the interesting stuff? Where's all the documents I need? Well, if you haven't downloaded them, they're not going to be in your drive. They're going to be in these shared drives. So over here on the left side is where you want to click. You guys don't have all of the permissions that I do, so you may not see everything, but what is shared with every single person in the company is the sales drive. So we click on that, and that looks like this. And this is where all the good stuff is, okay? So in your main thing, we have kind of some important stuff that's not exactly super pertinent in any category. Your Savannah chat schedule, the Atlanta-based team meeting schedules. I could probably put our 2025 and 2026 GSM schedules here. And then you've got folders that are a little bit more for drill down. Now, keep in mind, there isn't one person that organizes all of this stuff. All of the different category managers are kind of responsible for their own sections. They do their best, but you don't always, they're busy people too, and keeping their content updated might not be their highest priority. So they do their best, but if you can't find something in this, say, hemp THC category, and you're clicking here and you're saying, man, where is the thing that I need? Feel free to reach out to the category manager and say, hey, I can't find this. Do you have it? In this case, it would be Will Young. If you don't know who it is, ask your DM. That's another good thing. Who does what is tricky around here. And we don't have one master document that tells us what every single person does. So sometimes you just have to ask. So that's helpful in each of your in your categories. There's good stuff in there. My personal favorite and the one I use the most is the one sheeters page. And apologies to our Savannah branch, but this is going to be primarily Atlanta-based stuff. Though all of these brands are relevant to you, they won't have the stuff that we don't sell up here, as you might imagine. So, we've got our portfolio sheet here. We've got our NA sheet. You got your HRA documents, all the different one-off sales sheets that we make, functional beverage, Korean, Asian, all the good stuff. Now, here's something that you got to do a certain way. If you want to share the 2025 fall current up-to-date catalog, you can't just share it because you don't have permission to directly share our documents with outside. These are in-house documents. What you want to do is download the document to your personal device. That makes it a copy that you then own, and then you can then attach that document to an email to an outside client. I get requests on the daily basis for sharing documents to other people. Very simply, download the document, share it yourself. Our we're not going to share access to our drive with people that aren't in the company for obvious reasons. So yeah, that's the drive. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Again, similar to Sales Rep Home that Brandon just did, it's very helpful to look through this stuff yourself. The search function works very, very well. Let's just say Zaccanini. Oh, look, there's a Zaccanini folder with some sales sheets and some pricing. If you needed something like that. If you needed, here's a good one, Core 7 sales sheets. Where's our current one? 2025, September, October, November, December 25. And we probably could have done a better job uploading those this time around. Oh, that's 2024. So, sales documents are in there, forms. There's all sorts of good stuff that you can go through on here that somebody has put up here at one point. I do want to navigate this. I'm going to take this back from me. Uh-oh. There it is. I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to start my share on the phone. And show from there. So if you're coming from your phone on Zoom, I've got my my drive loaded up here. Again, it's shared drives is stuff that's sailed with you. That's one way of getting to it. But the files tab is really what you want. File, share drives, sales. And that's everything that you can access on your phone. Once again, if you don't have your home computer, if you're not working off a tablet, you can work off your phone. Go to One Sheeters, download one of these drives. Don't share them directly. Download the file and then attach it directly yourself. Good way of doing it. Hey, send me that sales sheet with that portfolio sheet. Here you go. Any questions about all that? Sorry, I'm going fast on my phone. It might be tough to watch. Any questions about the drive? Any questions for myself or Brandon? Just kind of where we stash a lot of different stuff. Again, if one section isn't particularly well updated, sometimes the category manager isn't spending a ton of time on it. That can be understandable. Yeah. Anybody got anything they want to talk about or ask? I guess would be the better thing to say. Brandon, anything you want to finish with?
I think that's about it. I mean, I can show the login process if you
Yeah,
want to
do
do
that
that
real
real
quick,
quick.
just in case, because there's maybe some newer
Sure.
reps or someone that hasn't used Backoffice yet. There's a lot of different functionality, and it's helpful to just
Cool,
show
cool.
everything.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get back into that. Okay, let me log out. So when you guys go to savannahdist.com, it is Savannah DIST, that is our Encompass website. That's where we keep all of our data, all of our sales stuff. That is our domain that we use through Encompass. And so usually here you would have your email and your password. So that's going to be your work email, usually first.last name at savdist.com, and then your password. Click login. And now for most of you, it should take you directly to Sales Rep Home. There are some times when if you were looking at a dashboard the last time you closed out, it might take you right back to that dashboard from before. But in general, that's how you get in and out. And you can do this on your phone, on a tablet, on a browser, however. And if you guys have trouble logging in or like issues with your password, that is something to handle with Encompass directly because we, even as people with all the permissions on the Encompass site, we actually can't change people's passwords or see them or update them or anything like that as a, security concern. So if you guys do have issues with that, probably go directly to Encompass for that one. But otherwise, I am happy to help you guys with anything Encompass related. So yeah, that's how you log in.
Cool. All right. Thank you, team. Glad you enjoyed it. If you want to watch it again, I'll put it on YouTube. Other than that, have a great Monday. There's a forgot password link on the login page. That will force you to update your password on your devices as well. Just for reference, your Compass login is the same for all of your devices: phone, tablet, computer, whatever.
That's a good
Uh,
point. Yeah.
all right, cool guys. Thanks. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Enjoy the rest of your Monday and have a good week.
Thanks, Joel.